Hi, welcome to another edition of the Alan Rosenberg Show. It's 6:15 Monday night. Just got home from work about 20 minutes ago. We got to talk about The Who. This never-ending drama between Zak Starkey and The Who is really wild, and it really doesn't make any sense. So what happened? I guess it was yesterday, and let's go online here. Yesterday, The Who makes an announcement. Not a very involved one either. Here's The Song Is Over, the North American Farewell Tour, and it says, The Who are heading for retirement. Whereas Zak is 20 years younger and has a great future with his new band and other exciting projects. He needs to devote all his energy into making it all a success. We both wish him all the luck in the world. Scott Devours, who fans will know him from Roger's solo shows, will be replacing Zak. We hope all our fans will welcome him, Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey. Quick, to the point, basically saying he needs to devote his energy to other things, maybe hinting that that's what Zak wants to do, but we all know, without even reading it, that that's not the case. Anyway, that's the message from The Who. Not cutting to the chase, basically, without giving much in the way of details. So then, Zak Starkey, and I give him credit, man, he does a response. I love The Who and would never have quit. The Who's Zak Starkey has been fired again just weeks after being fired and then rehired. So Zak talks about a bunch of things here. Zak posted, I was fired 2 weeks after reinstatement and asked to make a statement saying that I had quit The Who to pursue my other musical endeavors. That would be a lie. The Who and I love The Who and would never have quit. So that Who message is definitely implying that he's quit to do his other things. Zak's like, nah, no way would I ever quit The Who. So he's saying, so I didn't make the statement. Quitting The Who would also have let down the countless amazing people who stood up for me. Thank you all a million times over and more. Through the weeks of mayhem of me going in and out and in and out and in and out like a bleeding squeeze box. Cute. To clarify other projects, yes, I do have other projects and always have. Starkey goes on to detail the other projects at length, but none of this has ever interfered with The Who and was never a problem for them, and he would never let it interfere with The Who now. So it's just amazing. Comes 2 weeks, this announcement that they fired him again, 2 weeks after they reinstated him. Although, again, The Who really didn't use the word fire. They basically said, here's what they said, The Who are heading for retirement. Zak Starkey is 20 years younger. He needs to pursue his other things. So then it gets a little bit more interesting. You got Scott Devours, or is it Devours? I'm a zombie guy. Maybe he's devouring Zak Starkey. No, I'm just kidding. His name is Scott Devours or Devours. And yesterday with a short, simple Instagram post, Pete and Roger once again changed my life forever. It's hard to express a tsunami of emotions I'm processing since that incredible news. But there are a couple things I feel compelled to say. Then he goes on to thank everybody for their support for Scott. But don't ask me for tickets. That's cute. And then he says, I understand and accept the reality that there are many lifelong Who fans who are absolutely gutted by the news that Zak is no longer on the throne behind The Who. And as a huge fan myself, there's a part of me that processes this loss with a heavy heart, too. But it's a really strange contradiction of emotion as now he's excited, a dream come true, that he's actually going to be playing with The Who. So I guess the reality of it is this. There are many fans who will not accept me or anyone on our throne except for Zak. I know this will be the case for some, and I acknowledge that. Perhaps the jury is still out. He's just going to let the music do the talking. In my world, there's no bigger shoes to fill than those behind Pete and Roger. The weight of the responsibility is enormous. I'm feeling every ounce of it, And I want to say to all the fans that I will do everything I can to honor the legacy of The Who, Zak, Kenny Jones, Simon Phillips, and the memory of the great Keith Moon. So just the fact that he's mentioned in those company is just amazing to him. Since this is the last time Pete and Roger will be touring the U.S., playing the greatest songs ever written, I'll be giving them every second of my time, every beat of my heart, and every drop of my sweat and blood. This is my ultimate goal. But the tour isn't about me or anyone other than The Who, which is, in capital letters, Pete and Roger. I'll give them everything I have, and the rest is soon to be history. So, a nice comment from him, but definitely making some points that, make no mistake, in his mind, and all of us know, Pete and Roger are The Who. Zak Starkey is paid to be the drummer, and they have a right to replace him. So I get all of that. Now, this thing is just so damn weird. Why are they doing it? It doesn't make any sense to me, because if this is truly the last tour, and of course the last tour was in 1982, but that turned out to be the last tour with Kenny Jones. Then they played again Simon Phillips. That was the last tour, and then they reformed again Zak Starkey, and there was many mentions from Pete that will be it. And then they've kept touring, coming up with different concepts, Tommy, Quadrophenia, whatever. And now it's the last tour. It just seems to me to make complete sense to go out with Zak Starkey. Why wouldn't you do that? If you're only going to be touring one more, why would you bring in a new drummer? As good as he might be, playing with Roger Daltrey, etc., why would you do it unless you're going to keep going? This may be another new beginning. I don't know. The other aspect is maybe is it a personality conflict that Daltrey just loves playing with Scott Devours, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Is that it, that he just loves playing with him, and he has just put the screws to Townsend and the rest, saying, I don't want to play with Zak anymore. I want to play with him for the final Who tour. Is, based on the footage of the Daltrey thing on stage, clearly there might be some kind of a personality thing going on, or some other issue that the Who don't want to bring to the public. That is always a possibility. I don't know. But at the face of it, this is just weirdness for sure. It just doesn't make any sense unless, Daltrey hates Zak Starkey, something like that. And Townsend is obviously capitulating, because Townsend was the one who stood up and said, nah, it's all a mistake, that never happened. And 2 weeks later, clearly it did happen. So I don't know. Does anybody know? I don't know. But the whole thing is just really weird, as is this whole thing. It's another brilliant move. Announce a farewell tour, and now you could jack up the prices for the tickets and sell better because, this is the last tour. And we've seen just about every artist do this, except for the Stones. They've never pulled this shit. Name it. Peter Frampton always played small places. Can't play anymore. I'm going to do a farewell tour. Plays Madison Square Garden, the LA Forum. Thankfully, I guess his health is maintaining, because he's toured two or three times since then. And they all do it except for the Stones. I can't tell you how many times the Who have done a farewell tour, but I can tell you that even seeing the Who in New York area, which I continue to do on their last tours, it's always been really easy to get tickets for them. The last time I saw them, the place was half sold a week before the show. I got tickets for dirt cheap, really close up. Now the prices are thousands of dollars because it's the final tour. But we'll see how it sells. I'm not buying tickets at this price. No shot. We'll see if the tickets don't sell completely. Maybe they'll dump the tickets for cheaper. We'll see. But anyway, that's the story. It is just really strange. Part 2 of this video. I saw Jon Anderson Friday night at Westbury Music Fair, which is a small venue here in Long Island. I don't know, maybe it seats 3,000, but it wasn't, it's in the round, but they didn't have him in the round, so that was May 16th. Jon Anderson and the band Geeks performing Yes Epics, Classics, and more. And that's some of the other people that are playing there after this if you're interested. That's Westbury Music Fair. I love that venue. I actually went and said, can you give me some tickets, man? And I went to the box office, and they printed me out some tickets. I had last row, by the way. but it's a fairly small place. So last row tickets are still pretty good. I think the tickets were like $38 or something like that. Anyway, it was a really cool show. He really did play Yes Epics. He is 80 years old, and you would never know it, man. His voice is incredible. And I love seeing live music where the music is live. The band Geeks are incredible musicians. I think Jon Anderson discovered them online. They were doing a cover of Heart of the Sunrise, and he was blown away. The musicianship is incredible. And, you know, there used to be stories when some people used to say, who's the best drummer, who's the best guitarist in the world? And the answer was, oh, some unknown guy that you never knew. And it's kind of true, because I'm looking at the musicianship of the band Geeks, and it was insane, man. They were playing this music note perfectly. It is so complicated. And the drummer was just unbelievable, but the guitarist sounds just like Steve Howe. The bass player, it was amazing. And Jon Anderson's vocals were incredible. The guy's 80 years old. He's still hitting all of those notes. He is really singing. They are really playing. I don't really hear any sweeteners going on there, but if they are, they're minor. It's a thrill seeing live music, and it's so rare to hear a live music, and this really was live music. So it was just great. Spoiler alert, here is the set list. They played 12 songs, and so here's the tracks that they played. Now, it opened with Firebird Suite, and I'm like, wow, how cool is this? Now, that's just the music that's playing over the speaker when they come out. If you know Yes, that's the opening to Yes songs. And I'm like, how great is this? They're going to do what's on Yes songs, and they're going to go right from Firebird Suite into Siberian Khatru. They didn't. They did something insane, man. They went right into Close to the Edge. My wife was like, oh my God, she can't handle this long music, but she did all right. You know, Close to the Edge, 25, 26 minutes. That was the first song. And they played it no perfect. It was incredible. Get a standing ovation. Then they go into Perpetual Change, which was awesome. Absolutely great. And then they do Counties and Countries from the new album. True, I guess it is. I don't have it. I thought it was okay. But listen, I appreciate the fact that you got to play new material. And they did, and it wasn't bad. And then they do And You and I See Heaven at the end of that. They just played it perfectly. My wife was like, oh yeah, I know this song. This is great. And she said, why does it have to be so damn long? But that's a different story. And then they did True Messenger, which is also from the True album. I thought that was okay. Neither of those songs made me have a great desire to go get the album, to be honest with you. And then they did Owner of a Lonely Heart, and I wasn't overly thrilled with that. It just really doesn't mix with the rest of it. But I get it. They got to play that song for the casual Yes fans. So, sorry for my dog barking. They took a break. They come back 20 minutes later. They do Awaken from Going for the One of my favorite Yes songs from one of my favorite Yes albums. It was amazing. He's funny. He's playing like, I have some really terrible pictures I'll show you. But he's waving like this flag thing around. They do Your Move, I've Seen All Good People. Great. And then they do this song called Once Upon a Dream, which is also from the True album. That was like epic classic Yes. It was like, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes long. But considering I never heard the song, it really worked well. Almost made me want to get the album, and maybe I'll get it sometime. That was really good. And then they ended with Starship Trooper, incredible, an amazing jam on Worm at the end. Wow, that was tremendous. And then Roundabout, which was amazing. And the keyboard player, they had a utility player who played keyboard and guitar. And the guy did an incredible Rick Wakeman solo. You know, one of the greatest keyboard solos of all time in Roundabout. So that's the set list right there. I don't know if he's mixing it up. Probably not. But that's Jon Anderson and the Band Geeks Flag Star at Westbury Music Fair. Yes, epics, classics, and more. And indeed, it was. So that was a great show. My first show I think I've seen all year. Nothing from Elias or Sun Hill or any of the other immense amount of solo records Jon Anderson has. Just the classics and 3 new tracks from the new album. But if he's playing out by you, I mean, again, the ticket prices here were very reasonable. and it was just great. Just absolutely loved it. So let me know what you think. I'll end it right here in my typical low-budget fashion. I am not the kind of person that records concerts. I just really want to enjoy them. But I tried to take some pictures, and my camera is not all that great. So here's a couple of pictures. Get ready. You're going to get dizzy. All right. So a couple of the pictures, and that really doesn't help. But what the hell. So that's Jon Anderson and the band. You probably can't see it too well, but yeah, it is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. Here's another picture. He looks phenomenal. You can't really see right there, can you? There he is. That's him right there. Guy looks amazing. He's in great shape. He's kind of little. I don't know how tall he is. I'm 5'6". He didn't look all that tall to me. And he's in great shape, and the band is amazing. Here's some more pictures that I took. My camera on my phone is lousy, as you can tell. So there he is, clapping hands. Let's get rid of that picture and some more. But this is the kind of concerts that I like, to be honest with you. You know, small shows, and the sound was great. And it was actually in the round, but the stage didn't move. He didn't sell the whole round theater, so it was great. So there's a couple of pictures for you. Nothing too great. I'll tell you one interesting thing, and I noticed it about Martin Barr when I saw him. He had like little screens going around with like what you would... So while you're listening to the concert, you could look at the little screens and see artwork. You know, and you're kind of expecting to see that Roger Dean legendary artwork. But it was kind of a knockoff of that. It wasn't the Roger Dean stuff. It wasn't nearly as good. But I guess Jon Anderson has come up with some interesting pseudo-Roger Dean artwork to make the show more interesting, at least for the bigger theaters. In this, it was kind of small at the top. But it made me think that Jon Anderson must not have any rights to the Yes artwork, because it was all original artwork. Martin Barr did a similar thing. He had artwork playing through his whole concert, and backdrops, but none of it was official Toll. Like, he couldn't show the Toll album covers. And same with Jon Anderson and Yes, man. It's a brutal business. I guess he does not have any of those rights. I thought that was kind of interesting. Anyway, enough of my yapping. Thanks for watching. If you're new to my channel, hit subscribe. Check out the videos. Let me know your thoughts about the whole Who Zak Starkey thing. Are you going? Do you even care that Zak Starkey is not going to be the drummer? I'm sure the Scott Devours is great, but it just doesn't seem the right thing to do when it's your last tour. But again, we've heard that countless times with The Who, so maybe it's the last tour with Zak Starkey. I don't know. I'll see you next time on the Alan Rosenberg Show.